everyone, Laura K. Buzz here, and we are back with another episode of Laura Watches Harura Musuka, Wandering Sun. It's that 12 episode anime that I watched like 15 years ago and came out as trans that same night, and then didn't watch for 15 years and we're revisiting it. We are on episode 10. We are in the final quarter now. We're in the final 3 episodes, and this is where things are going to kick off. Last episode, episode 9, we had I don't know if it's exactly the last episode, but I know I'm pretty sure the last episode was Takatsuki started coming in the boys' uniform, and our trans family was like, "Hey, I want to come in the girls' uniform." Chi wouldn't lend a girl's uniform. Takatsuki wouldn't lend a girl's uniform. All a bunch of bullshit. Nitori, the Nitori is the name I was trying to remember. Nitori goes, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway, goes into school in the sailor outfit. And in the post-credits we got, yeah, she got sent straight to the nurse's office and picked up by parents. And my main thing last episode was I really fucking hope that Takatsuki and Chi stand up and defend Nitori's, rights and ability to do this, but I have a sinking feeling it's not going to happen. Because I've been thinking about when I watched this show, and one thing I remember was that I finished watching episode 12 and went straight to Wikipedia to read what happened in the manga. And even if I don't remember well what happens in the manga, the fact that I I went, oh, did this story continue elsewhere and what happened, to me says Nitori is not out at the end of this show, that it's still an ongoing thing, which makes me brace for probably a few episodes of hardship and struggle that we then go Google, where does it go? And I think that's where I got she eventually comes out and everything's fine and she has a very good life, and I'm like, okay, I'm glad that this goes somewhere good. It's now we're hitting the final act, it's starting to come back together for me, so let's give this a go. Are you being bullied? Or did you lose a bet? Yep. This can't have been serious. Can't have been in seriousness. Also, I'm gonna turn this volume up a little. And it's like there. Did you lose a bet? This is just his hobby. I mean, he wants to be a girl. You used to dress him like a girl. Okay, yeah. So this is the rationalization you often see from parents. It's the are you being made to do this? Okay, whose fault is it that you want to do this? If you're not being forced into it in this moment, what developmental choice was made that we can blame this on? You've been a bad influence on him. Excuse me, he started this on his own. Don't blame me. Yeah, because that's what this is. This is trying to find blame. There is something wrong here, something that should not be happening. We need an explanation or a thing to blame. Because the thought that this is just something inherent, and that this is okay. The thought to ask Nitori, like, what if we give you space and quiet to just talk about how you feel? Doesn't come up. This is not about you. Someone made you do this, or someone broke you in a way that makes you want to do this. We've got to get to the bottom. We, the 3 cis people in the room, need to get to the bottom of what happened. This is not about you and how you feel. This is about us deciphering you. Shoo. Let's go to the corner store. So, I don't remember whether it was episode 8 or 9, but there was an episode recently where Nitori was picturing who was going to be supportive and who wasn't. I think this was episode 9. Who would or would not be supportive when she came out. And her assumption was Dad would really not take it well, but Mum would probably be supportive. And if anything, it feels like it's the opposite way around here. It feels like mum is leading the charge on who fucked you up, and dad is like, hey, let's get out of this tough situation and let me try and understand what's going on. Which, there is some truth to that. Like, you can never really tell who are going to be the people who'll have your back and be in your corner, and who'll be the people that struggle until it happens. I kind of like that they flipped that expectation. Don't, like, find a park bench, sit by the river somewhere. You know, when your sister was born, your grandparents had a bet on whether she'd be a boy or a girl. Your sister was so loud when she first cried that your grandmother was convinced she was a boy. So she told Maho that it was her fault that she lost 10,000 yen to Grandpa. What, about $100? It was the opposite when you were born. Maybe we got you backwards. Like, look, this is very based in stereotypes of, like, loudness, assertiveness being masculine, quiet, timidness being feminine. But I appreciate the gesture that's being made here, which is... the dad is very clearly open to... maybe you're just not right for the role that you were born into, and maybe that's okay. It's an openness to maybe you're more suited to being a daughter than our daughter is. And maybe that's a sign that we support you in this. I can see how you would more see yourself as a daughter than she would. I think it's messy, but I think his intention is clearly good here, and I think it's a very sweet attempt at processing these feelings. Anyway, let's skip over the intro and see where we're going. I have a headache because of Shu, so I'm not going to school. Yeah. Other people making your coming out being about them is really common, or at least it was when I came out. And around that time. Without getting into too many specifics of people in my life 15 years ago, there were definitely people in my close orbit who felt embarrassed to be related to a trans person, that felt that my being out was an embarrassment they didn't want people to know about. There were people who mourned me as if I had died, as if me transitioning was in some way murdering the person I used to be, and that you had to, like, feel like that person had died and was never going to be there anymore. You know, people have big reactions like this, and it's not unheard of. And I know for me, it slowed down my coming out considerably, because I felt an obligation to hold back my transition to give other people the space they claimed to need. I allowed their discomfort with my transition to slow my own journey down, rather than going, my journey is my journey, you're gonna have to process that. It's not on me to process it for you, you know. Seiya's come by to pick you up. Because, like, as the sister, if you're embarrassed that Nitori, you know, came to school dressed in the girl's uniform, I'm not saying that she should do this, but all you would need to do, if you don't want to get blowback of being bullied for it, is just lean into the bullying. Just go like, yeah, I can't believe he would do that. Oh, what a fucking weirdo. Like, there's no reason, like, the fact that you are staying at home, like, it's one of those, you know that you shouldn't be doing that. You know that you shouldn't go in and make fun of your sibling to ride this out. And I think that's what this response is. It's, I don't want to see my friends because because then I would be obligated to either bully my sibling, which I know I shouldn't do, or publicly stand up and defend her, which I'm not ready to do. I feel like my only choices if I go back to school are going to be complicit in bullying or be your defender. And I don't want to do either of those. I found it easier when I didn't have to have an opinion on this. I think if I stay in this room for the rest of my life, it's your fault. Yeah, it's the guilt trip shit. It's Nitori's going back in the boy's uniform. Like, has instantly given up on the idea of being supported in presenting feminine. But even so, like, if Nitori can go back to school the next day and face whatever that's gonna mean socially, then your sister should be able to. But you're like, oh, if I never go to school again, it's your fault. Like, you're trying to load more negative emotions and blame and guilt onto a person that already feels like the thing they want more than anything has failed. Like, I have so much sympathy for how Nitori must be feeling right now. I'm not going. Will you go home? No, to Yuki's place. Whose place? Yeah, you need some support from a trans person of like how do I deal with this? How do I respond? Did you go through anything similar? Nitori never showed up. Oh, is that Takatsuki back in the girl's uniform? My initial thought here, if that is Takatsuki there, is, do I deserve to wear the boy's uniform if I wouldn't stand up for Nitori's right to wear the girl's uniform? If I would stand up for myself, but not for Nitori, do I deserve to have made this... Do I deserve to be happy in my clothing choice when presented with the fact that I was not willing to stand up for someone who was going to have a harder time doing essentially the same thing? I was not there when I needed to be. Nitori never showed up. You see him yesterday. No, I was late. He's already gone by the time I got here. Did you see him? Yeah, for a bit. I realized that you did a play about this. Please, Chi and Takatsuki, you need to have been loud and vocal advocates. This was your one chance. The morning when Nitori came in, and you're in the room and going, fuck, Nitori was going to do this whether we supported or not, and we weren't supportive. That's your one moment to go, we fucked up, we need to support her now. And I have this horrible sinking feeling neither of them's going to. I realize you did a play about this, and I'm partly to blame for letting you use that theme. This has nothing to do with the cultural festival. Chi's always been like this. Oh, Chi's already wearing like a half and half uniform. Okay, yeah. Me too. I've always wanted to do this. Why? Because I want to be a girl. Yeah, this is the point in the series where we're finally starting to stop talking in language that could be misconstrued as, like, cross-dressing. And it's like, no. For Nitori, at least, and from what I hear, this is not necessarily where Takatsuki ends up. But for Nitori, this is not about the clothing, this is not about how I look, this is not about how I'm perceived. This is about something inherent about my identity. I am, and want to be perceived as, a woman. I am all the time, this is me, not this being a costume I'm putting on. She isn't particularly interested in being a boy. Could you stop talking for a minute, Sarashina? So, I want to see a shot of the. Okay, I want to see a shot of the three of them again. I'm gonna talk now about my impression of where this is maybe going with Takatsuki. And this is again. I remember very little of this series, and around episode 1 had people telling me very vague things about Takatsuki's direction. But this is where I feel like things might be going. Is that Chi, Takatsuki, and Nitori are perhaps representing a trifecta of ways that someone's gender journey might be. Chi is, I am just a tomboy, I enjoy wearing boys' clothes, it's not a big deal. I very much do this because I can, and I want to, and I enjoy that. And I know that, like, no one's really going to stop me, and it's my little bit of rebellion, and it's a thing that I find joy in. On the other end, we've got Nitori. Definitely wants to transition. Like, this is about identity more than appearance, about, this is not a performance, this is not an act, this is, I view myself as a gender other than what I was assigned at birth. I feel like where we're going with Takatsuki, possibly, is I think, healthy to exist third option, which is person who explores transition and realizes ultimately it's not for them. I wasn't sure if I was trans, so I started exploring and realized that my experience doesn't line up with the experience of other trans people, and I learned something about myself through the process of exploring transition, and that's not a failure. That is sometimes how exploring gender will go. You will start exploring a thing and then realize what that means for other trans people isn't what it means for me, and maybe my journey isn't going that direction. And I can see how that would suck if you are someone who's been watching this show looking for good trans man representation, that it could feel like it's representing the trans man of this pair as less committed to transition, as, oh, just experimenting, just exploring, and ultimately backs down. And that could feel like it is a devaluing of the trans male experience. I can see that. While also going, like, I can feel how it would feel like a real bait and switch, and that it would feel like this show was denying trans men watching the experience that I got watching this, and how much that would suck. While also being able to see, with 15 years of hindsight, I do think there is some value to having stories of people who explore transition and maybe don't continue with it, and that being okay. And demystifying the idea that every story of someone who maybe starts looking into transition and then decides it's not for them is a mark on a spreadsheet saying why we shouldn't allow young people to transition. And that it can be a positive story. And again, this is me extrapolating on where I think Takatsuki's story might be going. But as much as I see those potential interesting lanes, I can totally see why it would feel like a disservice if you were like me. If you were a teenager like me, you were a teenage trans man, and thought this was going to be this story of two trans people sort of passing like ships in the night, having their transition journeys in parallel, and that yours doesn't end up in the same place as the trans woman character's story. I can see how much that would put you off a show like this, how much it would feel like the show had betrayed your community. And I hope I'm gonna keep watching now. I hope I've said that in a way that makes sense. This is me in real time trying to put thoughts together. I didn't know what to say. Nitori never even flinched. Yeah. Well, this is a surprise. She isn't home right now. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm Riku Seiya. Such a polite young man. Are you a friend of Shu's? A friend of his sister's. Ah, her boyfriend. Why'd you both skip school today? Can I just say, what I wouldn't have given for an adult trans person that I could have gone to in tricky moments when coming out to seek answers from who'd been through everything already. She went to school dressed like a girl. Yeah. Why would you go to such an extreme? How is that an extreme? You're a trans woman. You get it. You should get it. My sister might stop going to school. I don't want to go anymore either. I was the only one who was taken to the nurse's office. Yeah, this is what we were saying in episode 9. It's gonna get treated differently. You're gonna get treated like you've done something inherently wrong, whereas Chi and Takatsuki weren't. And this is why they needed to be vocal. They needed to put their comfort and safety on the line. And so, oh, I'm now realizing maybe Takatsuki and Chi were told to stop wearing the boys' uniform after yesterday. Oh. If it's not that Takatsuki's chosen to go back to the girls' uniform, has been told to go back to it. But yeah, they needed to stand up. They needed to say, why did you let us do it if you won't let Nitori? You needed to, like, kick off, like, a protest. You needed to put your own safety and comfort, and you needed to put the gains you had made on the line for someone else seeking the same thing with less of a privilege to access it in that moment. I was the only one whose mother came to get them. Everybody laughed at Chi or Takatsuki. They only laughed at me. See, this is the moment. This is the moment that everyone who has Nitori's back needs to step it up. Like, right now, let's say, this was my friend who this had happened to, and I was, a cis person looking to be supportive. You know what I do? I get up every vaguely supportive person, every person who took part in the gender-flipped play at school, and I go, all of you, we're going to be supportive of our friend. Come in wearing gender non-conforming outfit tomorrow. You pick a classmate of the opposite gender to swap outfits with. If you don't, you find some clothes in a charity shop. You find something. Everyone comes in tomorrow. They can't punish us all. Like, that's what you need in this moment. You need people willing to go, yeah, why was that a big deal? We'll stick our necks out for her. And I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to spend 3 episodes frustrated that it doesn't happen. But yeah, Takatsuki and Chi are the two people I'm annoyed at, because either one of them could have lent a girl's uniform. And doing that would have allowed Nitori to fly under the radar considerably better at the gate. But if nothing else, would have gone, I went out of my way to help Nitori in this. That's my uniform. You didn't have a problem with me wearing the equivalent of Nitori's uniform. Why should I have a problem with Nitori wearing mine? Like, you could have really made yourself a part of what had happened, inherently tied to the fate of Nitori. You could have walked in hand going, no, you're not going to stop us. You could have done so much. But you wouldn't, because you ultimately saw Nitori doing this as in some way wrong when you didn't see it as wrong for you to do it. Everyone said that I looked good, so I thought it would be okay. Yeah, this is the thing. Sorry, I'm gonna talk so goddamn much during this episode. as someone who got bullied a lot growing up, before coming out as trans, I frequently got told I looked feminine, be it by bullies who were trying to make me, feel insecure, or by people who were like, "Oh, your eyelashes, they're too long and beautiful, and they're wasted on a boy." I was told time after time after time by people that I was not masculine enough to be male, that I was inherently feminine, girly, not not doing masculinity right, being more aligned with womanhood. And part of me foolishly assumed that coming out, people would go, "Oh, that thing we've been seeing makes sense now." And that would somehow lead to supportiveness. And it doesn't. It doesn't. But I can see where Nichi's coming from. I thought I was cute. Sorry, yeah, we're getting such a repeated shot of all the people who have been supportive of Nitori in the past, right up until it came to going to school. This scattershot of people should be the people who turn up to school the next day in gender-flipped outfits. This person who wanted to go meet the trans woman, Takatsuki, Chi, but also nerdy little other trans femme friend. Every one of the girls that was like, "Oh, come round and let me dress you up in my clothes." Every one of them. Was I just being conceited? No, you were believing what you were told. What a strange demented feeling it gives me when I realise I've spent whole days before this inkstone with nothing better to do. Anna. Oh, has Anna not spoken to you since? I really thought Anna was gonna support you, but I'm now worrying whether this is Anna's gonna turn around and go, "Oh, I didn't think this was like a forever real thing. I thought this was just like a..." Is it gonna be Anna? No. I'm here on behalf of everyone. Was it be troublesome if we all came together? Everyone should have come. I'm the representative. I understand why you can't come. Don't push yourself, okay? I'm glad that everyone is coming and going, "We still like you, we're still your friends, we want to support you," but I'm really feeling like tearing up here. I feel like myself tear up. This is not the support she needs. She needs you all to put your neck out on the line and stand up for her right to come in as herself. She doesn't need you coming in and being like, "It's okay, we understand." Like, it's better that you're doing this than not doing it, but like, you need to be disruptive. You need to put your necks out on the line to stand up for her right to do this. You're being supportive, but you're doing so in a way where you're not willing to. You're not doing anything that's going to change the circumstances of her getting kicked out of school over this. I got to come today. These are the handouts. Oh, and Tatsuki wrote you a letter. God, Oh, this is one of the first times in this rewatch where I've, like, genuinely gotten really, really sad. This is really welling up a lot of emotions. I think part of it is, up until, like, episode 9, part of me was like, I remember that at some point Nitori comes out and lives a happy life as a trans woman, and around episode 9 it started to click, like, oh, I don't think that's happening in the show, is it? That's in the stuff that happens later that I read a summary of, isn't it? And that we're in for a few episodes of having tried to come out and it not going well and struggling because you finally found the momentum to do it and it didn't go well, and it's gonna be all the harder to build that momentum up again. And this is reminding me so much of my own journey when I came out, and it's hitting hard. When you finally build up that momentum to go, fuck it, I'm doing this, and then you hit roadblocks and you have to slow down and build that momentum back up again, it's so hard. Oh, sorry.
行くの？まだわかんないけど。
I don't know if I'm going to school yet, but I thought I would try.
私はまだ行
I'm
かな
not
い。
going back yet.
お前、友
You
達に
sure
恵
have
まれ
good
てんな。
friends.
毎日入れ替わり
They
立ち替
come
わ
to
り。
see how you are every day. Yeah, you know why you don't have the kind of friends who come see you every day? Because you're not the kind of person who... Nitori has been there to support so many people, has let so many people in on her feelings. You've been, like, here's the thing. The sister, like, I don't want to be too harsh on her, but, like, she has been visibly nasty to Nitori in front of her friends, in front of her boyfriend, in front of so many people. She has been publicly vicious to Nitori in front of so many people. And in this moment, I can understand why they don't want to come support her. Because there is a very real chance they put two and two together and gone, oh, this is why you were bullying your sibling. Oh, that nastiness feels really weird in comparison, like, now. And I don't know how to feel about it. You being visibly nasty to Nitori has probably created a lot of really complicated feelings in your friends. My friends don't visit because I told them not to come. Oh, you told them not to come. Oh, that's different. If they're not coming because you told them not to, it feels like you want to wallow in pity. You want to be the offended party. You want to be the person hard done by. It is important to you that you be seen to be suffering as a consequence of this choice. You don't want support. You want to have been wronged. And to get to be the person hard done by in this situation. You don't want love and support, because then it would be harder for you to claim you weren't a victim here. You're trying to bully Nitori for being trans, but also be like, your coming out hurt me more than it hurt you. Anna wanted to come too, and I told her not to. Everyone's worrying about you. Yeah, of course everyone's worrying about Nitori. She's the one who got pulled out of school and is probably going to get bullied to hell for this. Why would anyone worry about you? You aren't the one about to be a target of bullying and ridicule, probably, for being out and trans at school. They're worried about the person who is about to see major social consequences for being herself. Not for you, the person who really has not been harmed at all by this. This. Apologies, I'm all sniffly now. Good morning. Is Nitori awake? Oh, is she wearing the girl's uniform as well? I need to see from the waist down if that's a skirt now. Yeah, oh. Were Chi and Takatsuki both told to stop wearing the boys' uniforms? Like, look, if for no other reason than your own self-interest, you should have stood up for Nitori. And you should be fighting for Nitori's right to wear the girl's uniform, if for no other reason than it lets you wear the boy's uniform again, too. Like, I don't get why you're not fighting more here. Let's hold hands. Come on, you two, Momo. Let's sing. Oh, yes, it's such a beautiful day. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna talk about why I'm crying now. God, this episode's getting me. Um, this feels like my instant read on this is she's like, even if you can't wear the girl's uniform to school, even if that's been banned by the school, I now understand. I was in the room with the teacher when you said it. You view yourself as a girl. This is not about dressing up. This is who you are. And if I can't support you in wearing the girl's uniform, I can at least support you in treating you like one of the girls and involving you in girly, schoolgirl activities, such as running down the road to school, holding hands, skipping down the street, singing a little song. That's not something you invite your guy friends to do. That is a girlhood experience you are being invited to be a part of. It is an unspoken invitation to be a part of girlhood. And I remember years ago, this would have been like late teens, early 20s, having made like my first like real good group of like female friends and having this experience of I think it was at Comic-Con or something, the suggestion that we all hold hands and just skip along the road together and sing as we went. And there was something weirdly affirming about it, in that it was just this little unspoken olive branch. It was the offering of an activity that didn't need stating. This is not usually something guys are invited to do. And I think the look on Nichiru's face here says it all. It's, I appreciate this gesture of inclusion in womanhood. Oh, hey, we're dropping the T slur. Oh, hey, it's the tranny. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Chi, you were willing to like threaten to throw down for someone like criticizing you wearing the boy's uniform, but for a drop of the T slur, like go threaten to kick some ass. Like Chi, this is your moment to stand up. Who are you talking about? She's the one who wore a boy's uniform. They have their own club, huh? At least Chi seems willing to be like, yeah, I don't mind being associated. They're throwing T-slurs at you. Yeah, we could be part of a club. Sure, why not? What is it, Momo? Stop this, Chi. Oh. Everyone will think you're a freak if they see you with him. But Chi is a freak. No, you're not. Okay. Chi going, but Chi is a freak. I am a freak. Wonderful. Perfect. This is the allyship we need. Not being afraid to be labeled a freak for being friends with someone. Momo, I hoped for better from you. But again, I shouldn't expect better from Momo, because if Chi and Takatsuki were like, you'll be seen as a pervert if you wear the girl's uniform, as people who wore the boy's uniform themselves, I shouldn't expect someone who is just friends with someone wearing the boy's uniform to be any better about that. Yeah, no, you're not. You're not a freak. Momo is saying, like, it's different. What you did was different. You wore the boy's uniform, that's fine. Nidri wore the girl's uniform, that's a sex pervert thing. I won first prize in a weirdo competition in our class once. That boy's a way bigger freak than you. Chi, stop being friends with Momo. Like, tell Momo this is make or break. Don't be like this. You need to be willing to put something on the line to protect your friend here. You need to be willing to lose things over this, over supporting Nitori. Oh, you stopped wearing the hair clip. Oh. I think part of what's really getting me about this episode is watching not just Nitori struggling here, but every other gender non-conforming character in some regard stepping back into the closet a little. That's all it takes, is one bit of, oh, that's too non-conforming, being stamped down by an authority figure, for everyone to get afraid of, being themselves and to start making themselves more cis, more palatable. It's not just the one trans girl that got sent home, it's everyone else now feeling the need to be more conformist as a consequence. This is how society works. It's you make certain trans people unacceptable and send the message, there are lines you don't cross, and that line, is nebulous, it could move. It's designed to say don't make any gender non-conforming steps, you don't know where that line's going to be. Oh great, another freak. Chi, you need to push Momo away. What was that about? People will think they're freaks if they're with me. He was a freak to begin with. Now there he comes. Yeah. This seems about right. Want me to get a teacher? I'll go to the nurse's office. Ask Sasa for me. What you need to be doing is going back into that classroom. Hiding in the nurse's office isn't going to help, but I get it, because she seemed like she was going to stand up for you, but she let herself, she could have, kicked off a tantrum and gone, no, Momo, fuck off, that's not cool, but she didn't. She let herself get dragged away by Momo. It feels like no one has your corner right now, and I understand wanting to just not engage with it, feeling like you've lost, and it's rough. Such a moron. Was he just being a bully all along? I wanted to believe otherwise. He told Nitori to come in the girl's uniform and then called her a moron for doing it. Oh god. Yeah, that's rough. I genuinely wanted to believe he had good motivations. That sucks. I am a moron. See, this is why I remember needing to read the wiki after this finished and going, I need to know this has a good ending. And I think this is part of it. This is all starting to come back together a little bit now. Is I think what was really moving here was hardships. We'd had the hey, you can just be out and be supportive and have a group of people who get you. Oh no, sometimes you're going to take steps on this journey and people are just not going to get you at all. And then reading ahead and going, but it will work out and you will end up being a happy trans adult. Even in moments like this, like episode 10 here, where it feels like everyone is against you, no one has your back, you can still come out the other side and be supported. And even if I wasn't seeing it in this show, knowing that this character went on to be happy and out, despite how rough things are at the end here, was meaningful. You have a weird boyfriend. Is he really your boyfriend? I never wanted to kiss him, or have sex with him, anything like that. Yeah, I'm guessing Anna was like, this is fun when it's a cute little dress-up thing. Oh, I didn't... I'm guessing Anna hadn't stopped to think, this might not be cross-dressing, this might be... Eventually, I'll be dating someone, who's gonna start growing breasts, for example. I don't think Anna had thought that far ahead. Of oh, this is like a life commitment going on. Which sucks, because again, Anna really, really seemed to be that one supportive pillar that could be trusted to rely on.
あんたが清純キャラなのはおかしい。アンナちゃん、全然小悪魔キャラじゃないのにね。まあ、私
Enough
のこと
about
はいい
me.
よ。シュウはさ、
Shu is just
なんかあいつ
really
可愛い
cute.
なって。アンナちゃん、可愛いも
You
の
love
好きだも
anything
んね。
that's cute.
だから彼氏っての
I
とは
guess
違
he's
うか
not
もしれ
really
な
my
いけど、
boyfriend.
かわいそうな目にあったら
I
そん
still
なの
don't
嫌
want
じゃ
him
ん。
to suffer.
かわいそうじゃん。
Feel so bad for him.
優しいな。
You need to talk to Nitori. You either need to be like, you are my girlfriend, or you need to go, we are not together. But either way, you need to be supportive. You can't be yet another support pillar to fall away. I can understand why he wants to dress up like a girl, given how cute he is. But what about the future? Yeah. Is he going to be the same when he grows up? I never thought him to come to school as a girl. Yeah, you didn't take this seriously. It scared me a little. A lot of the time, cis people dating trans people are not as okay with it as they think. And it can manifest in really stupid ways. Sometimes one step of transition will hit a person wrong, and they'll say something really fucking stupid, and reveal that, like, oh, the realities of this are getting a bit much for me. Without getting into specifics, I had at least one serious relationship that involved me, you know, having a stage of transition that I tried to involve my partner in, and the response I got made me feel the worst I have ever felt about my body. And it was a really thoughtless little comment that fucking broke my self-esteem for the longest time. It going from you are wearing different clothing to your body is changing in ways that I'm gonna have to be engaged with in some way. Sometimes just doesn't work out. I couldn't bring myself to see him. Maho wanted me to cheer him up. I couldn't do it. A moron. I really hope things cheer up a little in the next 2 episodes, because goddamn, right now, this is about the lowest of the low in terms of you need to be ready for the possibility of total rejection when you come out, and you need to be okay with maybe I'm gonna need to move forward regardless of that. But it's a rough spot to be. Good morning. You're holding the fort. Look at this paper cut I got. Just sliced right through.
お手伝いします。巻きますか。
お願いします。大変だったね。
That was rough for you too.
お姉ちゃん大丈夫?
Is your sister okay? First of all, it's rough because you weren't supportive. Like, you're the reason it was rough, sir. Is your sister okay? You've asked, is your sister okay, before you asked, are you okay? You're more concerned with how the cis sibling is doing and how Nitori is doing.
お姉ちゃんが1年生の時
I taught her when she was in first year.
あんなことし
I
なけ
shouldn't
れ
have
ばよ
done
かっ
it.
たって今なら
I
思い
know
ま
that
す。
now. This is heartbreaking. It's no one supported me, and I was banned from being myself. And other people are making out that I am ruining their lives, be it the sister staying in bed, be it Momo going, oh, everyone's going to think she's a freak now. I've been here. I've been here in the Was it worth it? It feels like only negatives for having done this, only setbacks and pushback and denial of progression and people telling me how hard I've made things by doing it. My heart breaks for her. Why is that? I was only thinking of myself.
なんか偉いですよね。偉いっていうのもあれだけど。
Oh. Only thinking of myself.
なんか偉いですよね。偉いっていう。
Is it wrong to wear the clothes you want to wear? Sorry, it seemed like the...
周りのことを考えて。
Yeah, I think I've accidentally changed audio tracks. Let's, the Japanese commentary. That would explain. I was like, we're hearing audio that isn't lining up with what we're seeing. Confusion dealt with. I was only thinking of myself. Why is it wrong to wear the clothes you want to wear? I've always wondered about that. But when Nitori mentioned how nobody said anything about me, I realized he was kind of right. Yeah, this is what we were talking about in episode 9. It's going to inherently be harder for a trans woman than a trans man in this kind of context. In the social transition of just starting to wear differently gendered clothes in a setting like school, there is a lot more leeway for wearing male clothes than, for starting to wear female clothes. It is two very different hurdles in terms of how perception will be. If it hadn't been for Chi, I never would have gone to school in a boy's uniform. It would have been a lot harder had I been in Nitori's shoes. Yeah, this is exactly what we were saying. Nitori did this without support. Not only did Nitori not have, like, a trans woman at school to follow in the shoes of, Nitori didn't have a you. Nitori didn't have a you. Like, yours is not the same situation, but you could have had Nitori's back, and you didn't. Nitori pushed ahead regardless. Regardless of having no one to emulate, no one to have set that trail first, no one to go, I will help you. I will materially help you do this. So brave. I really want Takatsuki to start using she and Nitori soon. Nitori has said, I want to be a girl. Like, I want that pronoun change to happen. I've always thought you were really cool. You managed to look beautiful even when you're dressed like a guy. We got some fetishization going on. That's a no. Yeah, we got some chasers. You're an idiot, Takatsuki. How can you reject a nice guy like Yama P? Yeah. Takatsuki's now experiencing the... You are desirable, but as soon as you don't accept that desire, as soon as you're not receptive, you're terrible. You are only as accepted as you are desirable or attainable. And that sucks in its own unique way. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I guess you're just an ordinary girl. What's that mean? You're all happy about someone confessing to you. It's only going to get worse. Don't say weird things like that. I just have a feeling. You're pretty cute right now. I just want Nitori to try going into school in the girl's uniform one more time, and I don't believe it's going to happen.
弟は
Your brother, he went earlier.
友達と待ち合わせ
Must
して
be
んじゃ
meeting
ない
his friends somewhere.
すごい早く出てったし
He left super early.
大丈夫だよ
Gonna be alright.
何が
あ何がってそのニトリが心配するよ
There's
うな
nothing for you to
ことはない
worry about.
いじめられたら守ってね
You'll protect me if they bully me, right? Yeah, at no point have you gone, will someone protect Nitori if she gets bullied? No, because, of course, this is all about your comfort in this situation.
めんどくさい
Damn it all.
僕はすごくない
I'm not really amazing. You are. You took that first step.
あ、やっぱり。
Ah, it was you.
こんにちは
こんにちは。学校は
School?
あ
ここあんまり人気が
This
ないから。
place isn't all that
一人でいない
crowded.
方がい
You
いよ
shouldn't hang out alone here.
補導員よ
An old guy dressed as a guard will come and call you out to you.
怖いよ。
It's scary.
先生、こんにちは。
Yeah, you gotta go somewhere you're not gonna get noticed ditching school.
風邪ひいたから早退したんです。
はじめまして
Honestly, a church is not a bad place to go if you're trying to skip school.
怒るとブルース・ブラザースのシスターより怖いんだ。沙織ちゃん元気
Sayori, well,
わか
I
り
don't
ません
know.
なんだよそれ。同
You
じ
go
学
to
校
the
だ
same
ろ
school.
沙織ちゃんってさ、君のことまだ好きなの
Sayori still likes
っていう
you.
か
She just
沙織
doesn't
ちゃん
know
って
when
ダメな
something is
意味わかんない
hopeless.
よ。あんなに可愛いじゃ
She's
ん。
really cute.
何がダメなんだよ。
Even so, it's hopeless.
今付き合って
Are
る
you
やつと
dating
か
someone
いる
at the
んだ
moment?
はい
あ
Yes.
いるんだ。へえ、結構手
You're pretty
早い
fast
んだ
with the
な
ladies.
でも女装もする
You
んだ。
cross-dress
す
too.
ごいね。
お
あのさ、女になりたいの
Do you want to be a woman,
女
or
の
do you
格好
just
したい
dress
だけ
like
なの
one?
どっち
Which is it?
僕は女の人になりたい可愛い服もたくさん着たい
I mean, look, at least you haven't been scared away from that identity. In your heart, you're still going, even if you're saying it was wrong for me to try coming out, which it wasn't, you're not saying it's wrong. You're not trying to convince yourself you don't feel this way. And that's something. You've still got that spark.
変なやつ。
ニトリン今日も来なかったうんせっかく学校来られるようになった
Yeah, of course Nishiri didn't come back. Got fucking locked out the classroom, and none of you kicked up a fuss to be like, stop being such little shits. Like, all of you just kind of quietly let Nishiri get bullied. Because you don't want to draw attention to you by standing up for her. So yeah, like, she worked up the nerve to come back, and no one was there to have her back. So yeah, I get why she's dropped out again.
お見舞いはかえってプレッシャーかけるだろうし
If we go to visit again,
この間み
he
たいに
might feel
入
pressured.
れ替わり立ち替わりがまずいんじゃないかなそうかなじゃあみんなで行こう
Let's
か
all go together.
なんでそういう展開になるか
Why,
な
Momo? Why, no.
的に
Momo should not be part of this group. Momo is the least should be a part of this group. Momo actively should not be invited to this.
私がけしかけたみたい
I feel a little responsible for all
何
this.
がセーラー
For
服
the sailor uniform.
そうなのいや嘘違う
Oh, I lied.
何が
Oh,
嘘よあんたそんなこと
yeah. She was almost going to admit it's my fault for the sailor uniform. I refused to lend the girl's uniform.
したのおすすめはできないけど決めるのはニ
I
トリ
didn't
に
say
なっ
what
て
to
ちゃん
do.
と
Nitri had to
言ったの
decide for
そうい
himself.
うどっちつかずのことを言うのよ
だって本当のことでしょ
ちいちゃんは悪くないだろ
She isn't the one at fault here. Dressing as a girl and coming to school, that's his bad.
悪いってことないだろ
How can you call it wrong? Okay, Takatsuki, this is the speech you needed to give, like, at the start of this episode. You needed to give this last episode. This is... I'm glad you're doing it, but it's a little too late, honestly, but let's hear what you got to say. Both Chi and I wore boys' clothes and came to school.
男の格好して学校行ったじゃないか。
あんたなんかただのちいちゃん
You were just copying Chi, though.
どうせ真似だよ。
I guess I was just being a
男の真似して
copycat.
るだけの。
All I ended up doing was pretending to be a man. Even so, why do you have to attack me?
別に責めてないじ
Yeah, I can see how Takatsuki's language here, I was just pretending to be a man. Again, I can see all of the things of how, if you were watching this as a trans man, looking for rep, how disappointing this would feel. I'm trying to take this for what it is, and in the context of the meaning it had for me as a trans woman watching this as a teen, while also recognizing I can see all of the places where this is gonna be really divisive, and I totally get why a lot of trans men do not view this show with the same importance that I as a trans woman viewed it with. I wasn't really attacking you.
ゃん。高月くん
Katsuki. Stupid Momo.
高月くん
Now
怒ってたじ
Takatsuki's
ゃない
mad.
か。大丈夫？あいつが勝手に怒ったんじゃん。私は悪くないもん。
I didn't do anything wrong. You did. At least you shouted at Momo, but you need to... That shouting at Momo needs to keep going.
私の言ったこと気にしてるの。
It's what I said bothering you.
可愛いって。
That you're cute.
気にしてないよ。
Okay, I'm guessing this is going to be our... Where is Takatsuki on the trans scale? I think this is... We're getting that question... That answer.
気にしてるからあんな。
It is bothering you and that's why you got
じゃ
angry.
なきゃ白井の言うことなん
What
か
Shirai said
いちい
shouldn't
ち
have
わからない
upset
はず
you.
別に。
It's nothing.
ニトリくんばっか悪
It's
者
stupid that
扱いして
only
ムカつ
Nitori
い
is
ただ
being
けだ。
treated badly.
でも実際そうだ。
It isn't the reality of it. If Nitori hadn't done what he did, we wouldn't be worrying like this.
正直に言ってほしい。
I want you to be honest with me.
私、
Would you see me as a man when I wore the uniform as a real one?
正直に答えるわ。見えない。
Okay, that's kind of shitty of you to say. I will say to Takatsuki, and I think the same is true to Nitori. You should have been asking your friends to use different pronouns. If you want them to go, this is not just cross-dressing, this is identity-wise, you either need to have that conversation or you need to go, can you call me he, him, or she, her? Rather than, you need to put some signs out to go, this is about my identity. Particularly when, like, early in transition, you need to specifically signal, this is about who I am. To a degree. You look like a tomboy. Well, newsflash. Oh, newsflash. So do a lot of guys. Right, we gotta find where we were now. Here we go.
実際そうだ。
欲しい。
え？男に間違われるために残って感じ。そういう人いるじ
There
ゃ
are
ない。
people like that,
男の人
even
で。
men.
高月さんは
Do you wear
男
men's
に
clothes to
間
be
違われるため
mistaken
に
for a man,
男物
Takatsuki?
の服を着るの。だとしたら
If that's the
それって
case,
た
then
だの
what's the
変
point
装
of
ね。
it?
なんでそんな言い方しかできないんだよ。
Hey, look, if you want to wear men's clothes not because you feel like a man, but because you would like people to look at you and see a man, that's perfectly okay. There are plenty of women who, you know, want to be like... I've known many a butch lesbian that's been like, no, I am a woman, but I also would like it if you saw a man when you looked at me. Like, gender identity and presentation are a complicated, messy mix, you know. There is perfectly valid reasons to be like, I want to be perceived as a guy. I don't want to be a guy, but I want to be perceived as a guy. You know.
正直に言えっていう
You
か
told me to be honest.
昔はもっと堂々
I
と
used to be even blunter.
着たい服を着てる
It would have been better if you'd worn what you want to wear.
今は女の子でいることが
Now it just seems like you hate being a woman. Hey, relationships with gender can be complicated. I've known many a person with a hateful relationship of their birth assigned gender, you know. Right, here we go, Anna.
いや
Okay, we're breaking up.
アンナちゃん
They only laughed at me. Okay, so we're starting next episode with the breakup. Where do we even go from here? I do want to cry for you. God. So I'm gonna wrap this here because this has been over an hour for a 20-minute episode. This episode is breaking me, and I don't think the next two episodes are going to end well. So I'm going to say this now. When we do episode 12, at the very least, I'm going to, even if I don't read the manga follow-up quite yet, just because I don't know when I'll have the time, I will read the Wikipedia summary of where the story continues in the manga, and we'll talk a little bit about, because that was my follow-up, was I remember watching episode 12 and going, I need to know how this continues. And we will, at the very least, end on the note of where I think I remember ending this, which was, this is going to work out for her, but I don't think we're going to see it on screen. And I'm now, remembering how weirdly bittersweet this was as an experience, but yeah, for all the hardship in this episode and this being a real downer, there's a lot in here that's very real and that really reminds me of a lot of stuff that I went through when first coming out. And you know what? I think I probably had an easier time of coming out by virtue of having seen media about how rough things could be and knowing to brace for it. I went in expecting the worst, and I was ready when things got bad. And I am glad I had a reference for what that might look like. I'm going to leave this here. I'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 11, and then 2 weeks after that with episode 12. And then at some point after that, I want to do one where I don't know if we'll read the manga follow-up together, or I'll read it and maybe just have a chat, like a little casual chat about my notes on it and see where it goes. But I'm starting to see where trans men differ on their perspectives of this piece of media. Even if I can see a charitable reading of Takatsuki's character, I can see why a lot of trans men would feel hard done by the show. I get that. But also I just want to give Nitri a hug and be like, it's okay, you're gonna get through this. But I know how rough it is being in that position. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've all enjoyed. We'll be back with another of these in 2 weeks.